Crittenden County Rockets tonight at Tiger Stadium in the annual Hall of Fame football game. Good morning and welcome to Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. I'm Gator.
And I'm DT. Thank you, Gator. Man, we got Howard Cosell on here again. I saw a lady down at Willow Pond and had the new superintendent with me. We were down there. He'd never eaten there. And Beverly Jones and Denny Jones were down there, and she asked me if Howard Cosell was going to be on again.
Howard's back.
So she listens to I appreciate that, Beverly. Thank you.
We kick off a big weekend. Of course, the annual Black Patch Festival begins actually today with the parade, I believe, at 5 p.m. and a lot of festivities going on there. I had to get those festivities in there. And, of course, what really kicks it off is the football game tonight. The Caldwell County Tigers brings a record of 1-2 into the game against the undefeated Crittenden County Rockets, who are 2-0.
That's going to all be a good ball game. I tell you what, there's usually a great crowd, and with our traffic situation now, you might want to try to get there a little early. It could be. I know on the Crittenden side, they'll be probably parked all the way out to Fredonia.
Knowing Crittenden, you know they're going to bring a huge crowd, and they'll probably bring their lawn chairs as well because those bleachers probably won't hold on the visitor side, so the track will probably be full. But before we get into that, we want to bring up last night's 7th and 8th grade game. Brad Harrelson sent me a text. The Caldwell County 7th and 8th grade went over to Christian County and played the undefeated Christian County Colonels 7th and 8th grade. And our 8th grade was defeated by the score of 12-8. And I believe it's the first time that Christian County has been scored on this year. And Brad said we had an opportunity to win that game. And the 7th grade came away with a big win of 28-0. So our congratulations go out to them once again.
They're having a great year. I'll tell you what, I was hoping the game was at home. I was wanting to go out last night. I sent Janie on the road. She went down to see Austin for a couple of days. I was wanting to go out, but I didn't get a chance to go to Christian County.
Well, I didn't either, but I was over there the day before helping with the Bud Hudson Youth Football League. They're just starting to issue equipment out and getting started, and their 7th and 8th grade coach happened to come by, and he was telling me he thought that this was probably going to be their toughest opponent from what he'd heard. And he said, but, we hadn't been scored on. And I said, well, you might be up against something tomorrow night. And our Tigers did go over there and get one on the board and played them a really good football game, so we're proud of them.
They had so many kids out for the Little League over there. You were telling me that I know why he went, folks, you all that are listening. He went over there because he got to sell 80 helmets and some 50 shoulder pads.
Well, they had record number of turnout for their youth football, and they went back doing it the old way they used to back when I was in school, and they did them by the elementary schools. And, they got Pembroke and South Christian and Crofton and MLK and all the different schools, and they've got 2 teams from each school. And, they had 255 kids signed up, and they only had uniforms for about 175 of them. So, they're trying to scramble around and get these kids outfitted. And, it's good to see that the numbers are up, though, and I know our numbers here in our youth football league is up. And, of course, I believe this weekend our youth football kicks off their season. I believe it's over at Trigg County. I believe I read in the paper one of them, the teams play at Trigg County this weekend, and I think their first home games are next weekend, September 14th.
Going to be hard to believe that it's already here. That's the thing. I mean, it seems like just last year we were at our last show.
It's hard to believe that it's week 4 of the high school football season to begin with, and of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about tonight's game later on into the show, but, it's a big night for the Hall of Fame. We're inducting 7 new members, and, we want to mention all of those. We did extend an invitation to all of them to come in and talk to us, and many of them just couldn't work it in their schedule, and it's very understandable. But
Many of them probably didn't want to.
Yeah.
We got one poor soul that showed up, and he's going to have to listen to all this garb for at least 30 minutes.
That's all right. He's a good boy.
Hey, from talking to him out there, I believe he can give us more than we can give him.
I'm sure he does. We may have to put a muzzle on him after a little bit. The inductees for tonight, of course, are William Fralick, who was a starting end on the 1963 team and played every minute. You know, that was something that I saw Todd put in the paper. You know, he played every minute and every down, you know, his whole football career on both offense and defense. What a
And everybody really looks at William, and I did too, when I came back, as just strictly basketball.
Right.
You know, you never really thought he was football, but he was involved in that state championship team as well as the year after.
Longtime coach here, and of course, he was athletic director, and after 30 years, you know, of course, he retired, but he's still coaching. He went on. He even coached some at Dawson Springs basketball, and of course, he's back here as the associate head coach of the girls basketball team. And we're sure glad to have William coming into the Hall of Fame.
See, the difference between us and William is people wanted him to keep coaching. They didn't us.
Exactly.
They were ready for us to move on out.
Yeah. Some people never age, and William's one of them.
That's right.
Yeah. Dan Hughes, who was the team captain of the 1980 team, and of course he and his family are longtime supporters of Caldwell County athletics, and in general, and of course especially the football team. And Dan's not going to be able to make it tonight, and of course I think he contacted you and filled you in on that situation. Yes. So I believe his son's going to be here. And
Jesse.
He's going to be here,
and he's also a sponsor of this show, so we can't talk bad about him till off the air.
No, he or Joe McEnany, either one.
That's
McDonald's,
right.
They're co-sponsors now of the Tiger Sports Talk, so we appreciate that. Chris Cochran, is another two-way starter that we had him on a couple of weeks ago and just did an outstanding job in here, and just a terrific football player and outstanding really young man and really good person, comes from a really good family, and we're glad to see him in. Garrick Sigler. I've reached out to Garrick as well, and he's got a mowing business, and, he's back and forth, and he just couldn't work it in his schedule to come in. But what an outstanding athlete he was. And one thing I remember about Garrick the most, of course, he was an outstanding punter. He could punt the football now, and, of course, he was a two-way starter as well, and just outstanding, offensive player. We started him at quarterback and moved him to a running back, and over on defense, of course, he played at corner. And, we mentioned all these players that played. They're all two-way starters.
Yeah, for us they were.
Every one of them were two-way starters.
Most of them.
He was an outstanding player for us. Mark Hooks, who is our guest here, and we'll get back to him here in a little bit.
He's the worst one of all of them, but he's all right.
The worst one always shows up.
Every time.
What a player. I mean, he was one of the best defensive linemen and offensive linemen that I had the opportunity to coach here at Caldwell. And, he did a lot of big things, and he was the first player to ever play in the Kentucky-Tennessee All-Star football game. I don't think that was included in the write-up to him, but he was the very first player I had to play in the Kentucky-Tennessee All-Star game. Signed a full scholarship with Western Kentucky University, and just an outstanding player. And I know the people of Fredonia, is really proud of him as well. Jason Fawn, another outstanding player that is from Fredonia. And, Jason was a starting fullback and linebacker for us on that 1998 state championship team. And, another thing about Jason, too, he was our long snapper. And I can remember he, messed his ankle up against the Bullitt East game. And, he was, of course, he couldn't hardly run. But, he dressed out for the championship game. And, of course, we wanted to try to get him in there to play. He just couldn't go. But he was still valuable to us on long snapping. And, he worked his rear end off to try to get ready for that game. And I know how disappointed he was. But, of all the things he contributed to our team that year is, of course, comes to him being selected into this Hall of Fame.
People don't do that anymore. If they're hurt a little bit, sometimes they want to play and Doc won't let them, but some of them, when they hurt a little bit, you know, they wouldn't go out there and take a chance on doing anything. But he sacrificed his skills to help you for doing what he could do.
He did, and it's much like in 1985 when I was the head coach at Crittenden County in the state finals, and Mike Crabtree broke his ankle. And it was like 3 weeks prior to the state finals, and we tried to get Mike ready to play. He wanted to play so bad, and they had a cast on him. He got to play maybe 2 or 3 plays, but he just couldn't go as well. And, you know, you want to do what's best for that kid, but protecting them is, you know, the main thing, the safety of them. And our final member is Carl Copeland. Carl set the season record in tackles in 2002 and held it for several years there. And, you know, he's another two-way starter. And, you know, for someone to never come off the field, and, of course, he was a running back for us on offense, and then over on defense, he was our leader at the linebacker position, and he just did an outstanding job. We had Carl on last year, I believe, a couple of times.
And he's helping run Little League program last year, and maybe this year too. I'm not sure.
He couldn't get off work today, and of course, Jason. I talked to Jason. I made contact with him, and he got off at 6:30, and he had other obligations of taking care of his youngster, and you know we understand that. But we told him we were going to talk about him, so the ones that didn't get to come in here, we want to give them all the accolades that we can give them.
They deserve it, well deserve it, and I can't wait to see all of them tonight. I really can't. I never thought as you get out, and it's been gone 11 years now, and of course I don't remember how long you've been out, Hooker.
Since 91, 92 was my last
Isn't that how quick that is gone? But I mean, matter of fact, I probably hadn't even seen him maybe once or twice since then. That's sad, you know. It really is, but. It's good to see old people. When you see people that you love and hang on to, man, it's awful good, and we appreciate you coming, old boy.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we appreciate it.
Just to give you, you know, our listeners a few instructions here on tonight. Brian Jaggers was supposed to be in here as well, but he had to go to Madisonville. Someone didn't show up for work, so he had to run over there. But he did tell me to announce to all you inductees and their families to meet over at the field house, if you would, and park over there and come through the gate. Tell them who you are, and they'll admit you to the game for free. And they're going to have a little reception prior to the game at 6:15 at the field house.
Just a meet and greet, right?
It's kind of like a meet and greet, yeah. And any of you fans that are listening out there like to come over and mingle with them and, you know, and just talk to them and welcome them into the Hall of Fame, you are welcome to do that. He's going to have some pizzas there and refreshments for them. And I think at halftime they want you to, if it's raining, he said just meet on the field at halftime where they'll be presented their plaque, and Frankie Brown will be on the PA. And normally about 3 or 4 minutes to go in the half, they start making announcements for them to congregate on the track. So the ceremony will take place at halftime of the Crittenden and Caldwell game, and there will be a reception for all of them before the game around 6:15 over by the field house. So all of you that are listening, please try to be there, and you know, we appreciate this class coming in.
Yeah, we got to give one more shout out. We had a guy run by. I believe this is Fredonia Day. My old buddy Billy Baker came by and tooted that horn. He's been an awful good supporter of us ever since he's been involved with the program.
Well, we appreciate Billy and appreciate you know, all these Hall of Fame members being inducted. Of course, we've mentioned no telling how many. You know, we still got to get through. You know, to get inducted into there. Of course, having that lapse of those years kind of threw things behind, and several of these should have been put in several years ago.
Right.
But they're going to catch up, and you know, it's a good thing, and the older you get, the more it means to you.
Right.
And you know, we appreciate everyone's input, and you know, we're just excited about.
You know, it's something that kind of sounds silly in a way, I guess, but everybody that I've talked to that we have inducted, that I say inducted, I was one myself, it means a little more to them than you think, especially as they get a little older. You know, it's kind of like grandkids and everything else. As you get a little older, it means a little more.
It does. And, you know, and I hope it means as much to them as it means to us as well to see these guys. We've mentioned our studio guest here, Mark Hooks, who played for us back in the Twilight Zone, I guess. Late 80s and
You
early.
lost it there, didn't you?
Yeah. And of course, Mark got here a little early, and he's already started spinning out some of the old stories on us. And I told him some of them now he can't talk about, but we appreciate Mark coming in. And, you know, he hadn't changed a bit. He looks the same to me as he did, how many years ago has it been? A long time.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
You were telling him in there a while ago a lot of things to do, and he didn't do them, just like he didn't do back then.
Exactly. There's no telling how many times I told him, and he wouldn't do them. And he's still not going to do them.
Oh.
Yeah. Mark, we're glad to have you, buddy.
I'm happy. I wouldn't miss it for
Tell us
anything.
what it feels like for you to be inducted into this Hall of Fame.
Well, it's an honor. It when you get into it, I guess it just you feel like you're finally getting notarized for what you did back then, and it's an honor.
You always feel good when you're playing and this and that, and you just kind of take it for granted, and you don't really realize that other people are watching, you know?
No,
You don't think about that. Everybody always tells you, now you do right, do this, because these kids are watching you, and you're thinking, what kids? You're looking around, you know? Say, I'm the kid, you know?
Exactly.
But they're watching you.
Well, you did an outstanding job for us, and, you know, you played for a defensive coach that
was the greatest in the world, Coach Richie Hughes.
that expected a lot of you, and he got it out of you.
Exactly. We were so scared of disappointing him. We wasn't scared of him getting mad. We just didn't want him to be disappointed in us. He was a great man, very, very great man.
Disappointing somebody, I've always said the same thing, is harder on you than if they took a stick and beat you to death.
Exactly. Exactly.
When they look at you and shake their head, you know what they mean.
I seen Ken Argo not long ago, and me and him was talking about how we was just scared to death was going to disappoint him, and that was the big thing.
He had that knack of just bringing it out of you.
Oh, he did.
And you got any stories that you've been
Yeah,
reminiscing about?
I do got a story. I believe it was down at Mayfield right before the game, and Coach Hughes was giving us his pregame speech and firing us all up. And what was he said? He said the year before was knocking on the door, and then last year was kicking or beating on the door. And he said this year we're going to kick the door down. And when he did, he kicked the trash can. And I believe it hit you, Gates.
About knocked me down.
It did.
It was full of trash, too.
It was.
He put that 8.5 or 9 shoe
Yeah,
into it.
yeah.
I mean, he kicked it too.
He did. He sure did.
About the time that trash can got hit, we looked around and there wasn't anybody left. They all went out on the field.
Mark, you played on some good football teams, and I think we were 9-2, 9-3, and you know a couple of your junior and senior years. And is there any one game that sticks out in your mind, or?
Yeah, there is one game, and it wasn't the most important game. It was when we played Butler County. That was the coldest game I ever played in my
At
life.
Butler County in playoffs?
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I remember.
I remember that game too. I
Yeah.
believe. I believe one of the coaches come off that. What?
Oh, I was up top again, as I usually was. And when we came off the field, that coach, they were so mad because we beat them. And he said, go on and win and go on back over and play Mayfield again. We don't care.
You get your
We had
rear
to
end.
play them 2 weeks before,
Yeah,
remember? And
that's
then we
exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's right.
And I believe that was the night when we went back to Mayfield that we forgot the footballs
Oh, I
in
didn't.
pregame warm-ups.
I don't
believe
remember
that.
that.
That might have been
But that don't
how we
surprise
tried
me.
to beat them that night.
And we didn't have any footballs to warm up with. We asked our manager, "You got everything?"
Yeah.
But we didn't have any footballs, so Mayfield was nice enough to give us one or two to warm up with.
Of
And,
course they was.
Tell us something, Mark. This is your time.
You gonna put it all on me?
I
ain't you?
will. put it just like I
he-
used to.
He's
You gonna put it-
stumbling. He can't ask you no questions, and I'm not thinking of any good ones. So if you can think of anything,
Well, I can think of some good ones, but I can't tell them.
Talk about some of your teammates, some of the ones you played with.
I tell you what, I played with an excellent group. David Fagan, he was an excellent lineman.
He sure was.
And he should be here today with us. Ben Van Heuser, Timmy Bashir, Ken Argo especially. Ken Argo was awesome. the whole team I played with that year, and we was just a family. That's what we was. We was a family.
You know, when you play football and put all that gear on, go down on that field every day, you have to be.
Yeah.
You know, you can't go down there and be mad or
No.
not like one person. You can usually, if you don't like the one person, the 5 or 6 can get the one person to like them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not like in basketball or something else.
Exactly.
And, you know, and one aspect that you always look forward to in practice was fourth quarter.
Oh, exactly. I just loved it.
You couldn't wait to
that
get
was
to
just-
the hill.
No, sir. Coach Hughes blow that whistle and scream fourth quarter, and we'd kind of limp over there at that hill, and we'd go up and down it, and I'd lose count.
And even carrying people on your back.
I think
we
you
would
and
do the
Argo-
wheelbarrow. I remember carrying Brock Thomas on my back, and I was not a happy camper with Coach Hughes that day.
I don't know if we could get away with that this day and time with some of the
I don't
things
think we'd have any players left.
But we was in shape.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
the fourth quarter come around, we may not have won, but we was there breathing.
Yep. Hey, when did you necessarily start? I can't remember.
It was my junior.
Your junior year?
Yeah.
Now, as a junior, well, let's say when you were a freshman, who were the upperclassmen? Just a few of them.
It was Brock Thomas and
Brock
Chris Cochran.
and Chris and them?
Excellent player.
Were they
yes.
seniors when you were a freshman, or what?
I believe they were juniors. Because
okay.
little Chemo
Yeah.
was still there at that time.
Kevin,
Yeah. And
Ken
Brian
Simon.
Davis, I guess, was
Yeah,
there.
and Randy, what's his last name?
Randy Bruce,
That's him?
Yeah.
He was there.
Coach G's
That's another
son-in-law.
story I can tell you. You remember, was in practice and him was going out for a pad. And you remember that table we used to have over there? And he was getting ready to go up and catch that pass and get took out. And I remember you screaming at him, no.
Because he was going to go for it.
Yeah, he was. He went for it.
Hell yeah.
Caught it, I believe.
But yeah, we used to have that bull in the ring all about every day.
Whew, we sure did.
That in Oklahoma. and
Oklahoma.
That's how we'd start off practice. Sometimes up and downs. In the county fair, we always
And
went
those
to the
shoots
county
were
fair.
shoots were always fun.
Yeah.
Had the shoots you get to go to.
Mark, we mentioned, you know, some of the honors that you received. And, you know, I know it had to be an honor to participate in the Kentucky-Tennessee All-Star game.
It was a great honor. It was got to play down there at Tennessee
And Neyland Stadium.
in Neyland Stadium. Yes,
Now,
sir.
now, where did you go to practice for the week? Did you practice for a week or
At
3
UK.
days or so? At UK.
Yeah, we was there for a week. We practiced.
And I believe the head coach at the time was Mike Holcomb, who was the head coach at Breathitt County.
I cannot remember.
You probably, you remember your position coach and your defensive coach, but I'm pretty sure it was Mike Holcomb that year. And what about the outcome of the game?
We lost. We was winning going into halftime, but we ended up losing before it was over.
Yeah.
They had some pretty good players too, though. I mean, it was fun, I'm sure, for you to get around all the people that had. They were pretty good at every position. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, wherever you were, the rest of them were. I don't remember the running backs or anybody of them at that time either.
I don't.
Who
I
was
don't
on
either.
that?
I remember that you signing your full scholarship as well. We had a little ceremony down at your house. And,
Yeah. You and Coach Hughes.
Yeah.
Y'all was there when we signed in the picture, I do believe.
yeah, and
That was a great
that was
day.
during the Coach Jack Harbaugh era
It was.
at Western. And tell us what you're doing today. What?
I'm working and got a new wife, Wendy. Used to be Oliver, Wendy Hooks now. And we're happy and working, and that's about it.
We know
I
Wendy.
got a beautiful daughter, Allison.
Well, and then
who-
she must not look like you.
Well, she's as tall as me, bless her heart. I tell her every day I'm sorry.
Well, that's good to
But,
know. It's good to know, and it's good to see you.
It's great to
Do
see
you get
y'all.
to come to very many games? Have you been to very many?
I haven't
high
been.
school games?
I haven't been.
Well, you need to get up here and support these Tigers.
I agree.
Once a
You might-
Tiger,
you
always
I'll
a
be here
Tiger.
tonight for sure.
Yeah. Well, you better be.
You might get a chance now that you and Wendy are married, because she's been involved in a lot of athletics up here at this
She
system.
has. She sure has.
And she's a good girl, I'll tell you that. Good girl. Remember her playing basketball. I don't know how old she is, not going to ask, but I remember when my daughter played, they were, I don't know. Lindsay's, she graduated in 95 maybe.
Somewhere.
She was Pepper Chanel. She was a year younger than Pepper Chanel. So.
You're looking at me. I don't even know when my daughters graduated.
I know. I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, I'd tell you how old she was, but I couldn't go home.
Well, don't do that on this radio.
Home.
No.
Well, Mark, we sure do appreciate you coming in and sharing this with us, and we just are tickled to death that you were elected into the Caldwell County Football Hall of Fame.
I am too, and I thank everybody who voted for me.
Thank you for saying that, because that means a lot to the people that are in, that hear the ones that get in, that really do appreciate it.
And there's so many more out there that need to be in.
Right.
David Fagan, especially. He needs to be in.
They've compiled a list, and it can go on and on. And, but we do appreciate you coming in, and I know everyone wants to get over and see you tonight. So if you're listening out there, come by and visit with Mark and his family, as well as the rest of these Hall of Fame members, and hopefully the rain will stay away. You know, we're trying to get an updated forecast from Dakota here, and of course Dakota says tomorrow is going to probably be the worst day with the rain coming in, but hopefully we'll get this game in tonight without any heavy precipitation. Hooker, we love you and miss you, buddy. We sure appreciate you coming, and it's good times and old times. Yeah. I tell you what, we don't know how lucky we are to have a radio station that lets two chumps like us sit here and get to see old people, old buddies that we got to coach. And hopefully the ones that come in like us, the ones that don't have to come. But we do. Honestly, for both of us, this is a lucky. You know, when we were talking the other day, if somebody calls you coach, it means a lot. It really does. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I wish Richie Hughes could be here tonight. Yeah. That would mean a whole lot to me.
He's here.
He'll be here.
He's here in spirit.
I promise you, he's looking down on you, because he's going to kick you somewhere if you don't do it right.
And he might kick that garbage can again.
If you hear a garbage can rolling, you better move on out of the way.
Exactly.
Mark, once again, congratulations. We love you, and we can't wait to see you officially inducted in tonight at halftime.
Well, thank you, and I love y'all.
Appreciate it, buddy.
We're going to take a short break here and hear from our sponsors. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton. At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton.
And time now is 8:33. We're just taking a quick break from the DT and Gator show this morning, but I thought I'd come back on, give you all another look at the full weather forecast this morning. Currently 74 degrees, a few clouds in downtown Princeton. Today we're looking at a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, highs near 87. Tonight, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy, lows around 71. Tomorrow, Saturday, 80% chance of showers, possibly a thunderstorm, highs near 81. Saturday night, 60% chance, again, showers, thunderstorms, otherwise cloudy skies Saturday night, lows around 68. Sunday, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy with a high near 76, and it looks like the rain finally breaks come next Monday. Forecast for the start of your next work week right now, partly sunny skies with a high near 75. We're going to take another few-minute break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the DT and Gator Show in just a few. You're listening to The Tiger.
Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the Fiber Guard and Leather Guard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shawn Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Hey John, did you know that McDonald's has a 2 for $5 menu full of fan favorites?
Really? What can I get for only $5?
You can mix and match a winning combination from a selection of your favorites, including the Big Mac, Filet-O-Fish, classic chicken sandwich, and a 10-piece chicken McNuggets.
Oh man, you're making me hungry.
Well then hurry into McDonald's before this incredible deal ends.
I already have my McDonald's app open and I'm ordering now.
I'm loving it.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shawn Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Here at Tiger Sports Talk at 103.3 FM, The Tiger with Gator and DT. We now have it live in studio with us. We're surrounded by a bunch of Crittenden County Rockets.
Yeah, go Rockets.
And an old one.
And an old former one years ago.
A lot of them still don't like you for that.
Yeah. We are glad that we are joined here by the head football coach at the Crittenden County Rockets, Shawn Thompson, along with former head football coach Al Starnes, who is now in a different capacity, and Chris Evans of the Crittenden Press. We heard Chris yesterday on the radio with Todd.
It's nice to be with all you Caldwell County media celebrities.
Thank you.
But, you know, we had to listen to him over the phone. He wanted to get his picture on the live stream, so we're glad that Chris drove over.
Today. I'm a driver. I'm his head
And
chauffeur.
we've also been joined by Caldwell County head football coach David Barnes. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Tonight's a big game. You know, I know how big it is in Crittenden County. You know, being there years and years ago. And I know on the other side as well at Caldwell County. So, you know, I know emotions run high in a game of this magnitude. And you guys are probably fielding one of your better teams that you've had in years. And you feel really good about your football team. Tell us a little bit about them, Shawn.
Yeah, for us, it's a game where we can go in, use it as a measuring stick, see how much we've grown from the past year. You know, outside of that, you know, it's the next game. It's the most important game because it's the game that's now. You know, Caldwell County is a great team, and anytime we can get out on the field and compete with great teams and see where we are, that's big for us. So that's how we're looking at tonight. And we want to just make sure we go out there and we fight from start to finish and leave it all on the field.
Well, you've opened up with two big wins.
Yeah.
Stewart County, Tennessee, at home, and you went over to Trice County last weekend and beat the Trice County Wildcats pretty handily.
Yeah, you know, Stewart County, you know, it's a team out of Tennessee. We played them the second year we played them, and we knew that if we came out and played, we could take care of business in that game, and the kids did that. You know, we were worried about our kids and that switch, you know, being able to turn it on and play because we got a different group of kids. You know, they don't show it the same way as historically you see a football player. You know, football teams get all rowdy and all that good stuff. Our kids are level-headed, and we were worried. So Stewart County, we saw them click a switch that I haven't seen in Crittenden in some years. And then they followed up and did it again at Trice County, and I think we kind of caught them by surprise.
You know, you mentioned you hadn't seen it in years. Maybe it's because you lost the former coach over there at Crittenden with Al.
The spark, the spark has come back.
Al, you left Shawn a good bunch of kids. You know, a lot of times when a coach leaves, you know, there's not a lot left, you know.
Yeah, you know, Pat, I'm telling you, though, it was all planned. And, you know, there's 14 seniors. And they should be playing well. They should play with the passion and enthusiasm that Crittenden is known for. And you know, because it's the last year, and you know as well as I do, the senior year is the most important because it's the last that you're going to play at your school. So these kids are they played together for a long time. They're very talented. They're very eager to play. But you know as well as I do, Pat, that Caldwell County week is a big week in football for Crittenden County. It's the rival, and you always play hard. You know, and that was the game that when I first took the job there in '91 that they said that they didn't care if we lost every game, just beat Caldwell.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, you know as well as I do, and so it's a big week in Crittenden, just like in basketball. Livingston's a big week there, so you know the kids are excited about it, the community's excited about it, and you know Shawn has a good team and he's doing well, and he's got the kids playing hard.
Hey, Shawn, I was going to say what you mentioned a minute ago about some of these kids might not be Roddy Doodah style, you know. And I remember coaching a lot of times and even playing back years ago. You go to a team, and before the game, they tried to win the game doing exercises, you know, and you get scared. You think, my God, if they're that good playing as they are, hollering and carrying on. But you'll get a group like that maybe in 4 or 5 years. You never know.
Yeah.
You just got to be a coach and do whatever it takes.
You do, and of course I can remember back to 1985, which is a long time ago, but that game still sticks out in my mind. And we felt like we had the better team playing Caldwell, and it was one of the nights similar that could be like tonight in the rain, and we turned the ball over several times, and I know Coach Barnes can vouch that it's hard to win when you turn the football over. And they defeated us, I think, 14-6, and only game we lost all year. And Saturday morning, they was ready to ride me out of town, because that was the year that Crittenden was supposed to beat Caldwell, and it just didn't turn out like that.
Was that the game that when we were calling the plays and all of a sudden you said, I got one. And that when we threw it over at the end zone, Ronnie Moss intercepted and ran it back 100 yards?
No.
I
remember. No. That happened here.
I got one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched Ronnie Moss that whole, and he just kept coming, and he stayed at home. And he entered. I think that's when Pardue was there. Yeah, my brother-in-law was the head coach and went 98 yards.
Yeah.
So
he wanted to go 100, but he couldn't get 100 out of it.
Shawn, tell us a little bit about some of your players. Some of your outstanding.
We returned a lot of guys. Starting at the top with Hunter Boone, our quarterback, very experienced, been starting since he was a sophomore. He's grown up a lot this year. He's a guy. He's a leader for our offense. I call the offense, but honestly, Hunter Boone can do it. He's a very mature kid, and he has been since he's entered high school. He's just ahead of his game now. He is a gunslinger, so he has shown in the past where he will throw it out there. But I like that about him. I like that he's not afraid to make any throw. And I think the guys around him like that. So he's our leader on offense. I can skip over to defense. You talk about his brother Tyler Boone, who's a sophomore. He's in the middle of our defense, and he flies around. I'm excited about him and having him for 2 more years. He's a big time linebacker. He plays sideline to sideline, and he loves it. He is a raw guy, and he plays high intensity, high motor from start to finish. He is what you would want. You're raising a son. You want your son to be like him. So it's great having both of the Boones. We have Devin Nesbitt at running back. He's another one of those guys been starting since he was a sophomore. He's taking advantage of all the touches he's getting this year, and he's actually picked it up in the passing game. So he's added to his game from the past. You got Ethan Dossett, who's one of the top receivers in Class A returning, statistically speaking, who is out there outside and makes a lot of plays for us. And one to think about that we haven't had came out from basketball. We get a basketball player, Preston Turley, big 6'4" kid. He's playing receiver for us as well as playing defensive end, starting both ways. For him, the learning curve is taking time, but he is a physical specimen, and he's only a sophomore, so we can grow. Up front, our offensive line will return 4 starters out of 5. That's Devin Porter, Brock Langston, Ian Ellington, another sophomore, and Jake Gibson. And then Riley Gobin rounds them out as a first-year starter. We have Brandon Lamy, who starts both ways, and Peyton Riley, who starts both ways, a receiver and defensive back. You got Gavin Dickerson is a big one. He's the heart of our defense. He's like I call him Grandpa, like I did Coach Starnes going out. He's the old guy out there, the guy that's been starting a long time, and make sure everybody's in the right place. And honestly, he's that coach for the defense, like Hunter is for the offense.
Is that Serena's
son? Yeah. And his presence out there is huge because he makes sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do and lined up, how they should be lined up. And those guys being out there, it makes it easy for me and Coach Courtney on the sideline to know that they're going to do what they're supposed to do.
It's hard to name them all, and the ones you left out,
that's
okay. I don't know how you did it, but is everybody healthy? Pretty much.
We are healthy this week. This is the healthiest we've been this year, so that's nice. Finally, right. We had a bye week and had more injuries happen that week than most teams have in a season. It was crazy.
You mentioned the Boone kid. Of course, the one I keep hearing a lot from area high school coaches around here is your receiver, Ethan Dossett, and how impressed they were with him at the combine that y'all went to down at McCracken County, I believe, back in the summer.
Yep. Ethan is a guy who, you know, every rep he takes in practice is a game-like rep. You know, to have a kid who takes his craft that seriously, you know, it should show on Friday nights. He should be successful because he works hard. He's earned everything he's done and received all the accolades and statistics. You know, he's worked for it, and he's a perfectionist, so he spends a lot of time on his craft.
I was gonna say that carries over to your other players too when they do that.
Definitely.
Is he any kin to Brad Dossett?
Nephew.
That's his nephew. Okay, Mac and Brad.
Craig and Amanda are his parents. Craig played football at Crittenden back in the early '80s, probably right before you got there, Pat.
Okay.
They probably didn't hear what he said.
Go ahead.
That's all right.
Okay. Chris was indicating he played back in the 80s area. His father did. Tonight, the first time I can remember in some time that we have a family connection. You've got a McAllister, and we've got an East. Yep. They're first cousins. Of course, Mark McAllister played for DT&I, and their granddaddy, Dickie McAllister.
He played for you.
He played with you. He played with DT.
All right, you got me that time.
Now, Dickie, if you're out there listening, we won't know which side you're going to be sitting on tonight. No, that is something, you know, that's not really common.
Yeah. Just wear blue.
That's right. They both wear number 22 also.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
I said they're both number 22.
Is that right?
Both wearing number 22. So, first, did they play against each other last year as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've been playing against each other in baseball too. I know.
Okay. Well, that's
But
good.
yeah, Dickie played. Their granddaddy played back when Dr. Settle played. He's the same age
Good
as
player.
them.
And Mark played with us. He might have played during the Mark Hooks era. Around that time, he may have been a junior or
Yeah, I
senior.
can't remember.
But Mark was a good player for us as well as a wide receiver.
Yeah, and Caden's a sophomore. He's a very, very tough, physical player, linebacker.
Right.
He actually started his first game last year against Caldwell County. So that the first time he started was against.
Well, he got it honest because his mother is Wes's, my son's age, and she played no. And her mother named Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh,
Kelly Beavers. And she was the toughest person in Wes's class. She beat all those boys down at that Butler building anytime they had an event. Let me tell you, she was hot. Pretty girl, too.
yeah. Well, guys, I know it's a big game, but you got the rest of the season. As you mentioned, it's a measuring stick for probably both of these ball clubs. And, of course, there's, no excuses on our part. We've played a pretty competitive schedule. You know, you open up with Christian County and then go to Graves County and had a heartbreaking loss last week against a good Hopkinsville High School football team. And I know, it's going to be a really good competitive game. I noticed on your roster, you're kind of loaded with seniors and sophomores. So you got a good group of sophomores coming up as well.
Yeah, definitely. Those are our two classes where we have numbers. We actually have a lot of freshmen as well. So for us, having back-to-back classes that with numbers is great, because that's one thing we struggle with over there being a small school is making sure that all of our classes have the numbers that they should have. So our numbers are up because we have big classes now.
And you have to have that. I mean, in a school size of 360 students, you have to have those big classes every once in a while because it's not going to come.
Yeah. Of course, you compete in 1A, and, normally in the past, traditionally, Russellville has been the top of the district, but it seems like they might be a little bit down this year. I know Coach Myers has retired, just like Coach Starnes has, and they've got a new head coach over there, Mikey Bennett. Yeah, and he was an outstanding. I remember him being an outstanding player at Russellville. Went on and played at University of Kentucky, and It'll always be a big game there when you in your district.
Yeah, and it's one. Every year you think it comes down to Crittenden County and Russellville, and that's what we hope for. But I think they'll be okay. I think they're struggling right now and finding their identity, are getting comfortable with the identity that they've taken. And I have a buddy I played with in college who actually coaches on that staff, so I get to hear a little bit more than others. But I think that once they get comfortable with what they're doing, that they'll be a force this year.
The term is athlete.
Athlete, always.
Yeah.
One thing, Shawn, of course, you're from Crittenden County, played there.
Yes, sir.
And this is the first time, I think, in Crittenden County history that they've hired a former graduate as their head football coach. What's that mean to you?
That means a lot to me because I told the story numerous times. Crittenden County football brought me to Crittenden County. That's why I was there. That's why I stayed. I would go visit in the summers, and then once I got old enough to realize what football was about at Crittenden County and what Coach Starnes was doing, I called my mom back in Colorado, said I'm not coming back. You can move here if you want to, but I'm staying with my uncle. So she made the move, and it was probably the best decision I made in my life. There's no telling where I'd be if I didn't get to be a part of Crittenden County football. And Coach Starnes has a lot to do with that. He's my hero. I know that sounds funny, but he's like my dad. So he's always taking care of me, and I'm happy I made the decision to be here.
Well, he's a legend.
Yeah.
And
let him tell it.
It's hard to follow legends. But Al, tell us a little bit about your capacity now since you've retired.
Oh
from
yeah,
education.
I'm a Caldwell I'm a realtor at Caldwell Banker in Katie's, and working more now than what I did in when I was teaching and coaching. And
that's right.
Yeah. but yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be in Katie's and on the lake and enjoying it and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you though that I wake up every Friday morning because I don't have to worry about football until Friday morning, and it's game day. And not only is it game day this week, it's Caldwell game day. And so we're excited about it. But I'm gonna tell you, as a former head coach there for 27 years, I don't think that I can be as proud of anybody as I am of Shawn. Watched him when he came in and growing up from where he started, when he came to us to where he is right now. It's like a proud papa, and I'm proud of him and watch him work every week and how he interacts with the kids and the relationships that he has with them. And as well as I do that's what it's about. It's not about the coaching and winning. It's about the relationships that you build that go on to last for a lifetime.
Well, he gets to do those podcasts every week with this man over here, Chris Evans, and I know that's got to be exciting too, Chris, having someone new in there every week.
Actually, this year, just to try to add some new excitement, we're doing webcasts now. This is like Rocket TV. So you can see it on YouTube on Thursdays. We actually, kind of like you do here, it's live, and we throw some footage of the games in behind it. And Shawn, he loves it. He's so good in front of the camera. He's like Al, he enjoys. He just sucks that camera in.
Yeah, they got rid of me to get it in there.
You don't ask him any difficult questions either, do you?
No, man. He wants to know all of them before we start. I want to tell you, being a reporter, I always look for a story angle, and of course we lost Burt Reynolds yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And he was an icon when I was a kid. He was the dude when I was a kid. And Shawn, I'll just let Shawn tell it. He's got a connection with Burt Reynolds.
It wasn't that blonde-headed one.
You wasn't on Smokey and the Bandit, were you?
No. Burt Reynolds and my grandfather actually roomed together in the All-Star game that they played in high school. I guess it's a Florida-Georgia All-Star game. They were roommates, and I lost my grandfather a few weeks ago. So roommates kind of went out together, so they're back together again, which they kept in touch over the years because at home he has, autographed. Burt Reynolds not long ago sent, it's a pretty cool little case that has their picture from that All-Star game in it together. So it's pretty cool to see all that stuff. And, of course, thoughts and prayers for all Burt Reynolds family because I know what they're going through right now.
He was an outstanding player at Florida State. Played college football, and, of course, I remember him in the longest yard.
Yeah.
Right. Shawn's father played at Florida State. I don't know if y'all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did?
Sure did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm walking around this week a little sad. You know, we didn't come out and play like we should, but I was born into it, so I don't have a choice but to be a fan.
Good looking uniforms though.
They're gonna have to get Willie Taggart kicked up a little bit.
Yeah. Have to pick it up.
Well, guys, we sure do appreciate y'all coming in and sharing this information with us, and I know y'all look forward to the game. We're going to turn to Coach Barnes here and get some closing comments from him. Coach, how's it been this week in practice?
Hot.
Hot?
Very hot. No, it's been Monday at Labor Day, you know, don't have JV games, you get more work done, you got more time spent on film, and you know, we had a good day on Monday. Tuesday wasn't real good. We drug around and practiced a little bit on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were good days, and you know, we're looking forward to tonight. And, you know, it'll be 27 years that this man hadn't been walking the sideline, and
that's so going to be different.
So Coach Starnes is going to do the coin toss for us tonight, and so we're going to recognize him and let him come out and toss the coin, but we'll make sure it's got a heads and tails. And make sure he's already practiced this morning.
Yeah.
So there's the coin.
Yeah, and I've been dropping it too.
So he's going to do that for us, and I got that worked out with Randy Fox yesterday and the officiating crew. So we're looking forward to that. You know, Coach Starnes is you know, we play this game, and you know, through football you develop relationships, and through the years that we've been together playing against each other, you know, he's done a lot to bring these two communities together, and we really appreciate that. And they're fundraisers for different causes, and you know, it's something that that's what football's about. It's not just the competition, but the relationships you build. And you know, we'll miss Coach Starnes.
Well, he's still around here. He'll be around, but he's a little bit looser than I've seen him in years past.
Well, like I said, I woke up this morning and didn't have to worry about rain or anything like that tonight, except getting my Gore-Tex, and don't have to worry about the game plan and stuff like that. But but David, I appreciate it's an honor for me to do that. I appreciate your thoughtfulness, and you know, we're praying for you, praying with you, and anything we can do for you, you just let us know and we'll do. But it's truly an honor that you know, that you remember me and allow me to do this at halftime. I mean, before the game.
And you know, I don't think you could have picked a better guy to be your head coach than Coach Thompson. You know, he's done a great job of taking over, and you know, got a good football team and a good bunch of kids, and you know, as you look at you know, you mentioned the quarterback. That kid throws a deep ball as well as anybody I've seen. I mean, you know, Elijah Sindelar threw it pretty good, but that kid can really throw the deep ball well, and you know, he threw for 300-something yards against us last year. So you know, we got our work cut out for us tonight.
Very poised, and Shawn's worked with him for a long time now. So,
you know, I remember last year's game. Was it like 60-something to 4?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a high-scoring affair, and of course, you guys got off to a good start against us, and we had to come from behind. About
I think 3 minutes ago and a half, I think is when it unraveled. I think there's like 21 points in 3 minutes in the first half.
Well, there's been some great games on both of your part, and you know, we're gonna miss seeing Al over on that sideline, roaming up and down, but it's been the Caldwell County and Crittenden County rivalry has been a good, clean football game.
It's a healthy rival, and that's what you have to have, and. You know, it's we have a healthy respect for Caldwell County, their players, their coaches, the community, but we still want to beat them, and it's the same way with Caldwell that wants to beat us. But you know, you can have a rivalry like that and it be healthy like it is, and I think that filters some things in life that you learn, and you know, we're excited about tonight, and we're going to find out what kind of coach Shawn is tonight.
I gotta ask one question here. I gotta ask about my old buddy. How is Ronnie Myers doing?
You know, Ronnie is Ronnie. Is
he still filming?
Yeah, he's still filming. You can't believe a word he says, but he's probably the biggest supporter of Crittenden County football that I've ever known.
Well, you know, it's like, our Napa people are similar. Charlie Coleman, we've got one as well here. Of course, he gave me a lot of instructions on Saturday morning what I should have done, and Ronnie, of course, is long time. Big time.
Yeah, I mean, he's
fan.
a self-proclaimed Hall of Fame head coach, don't you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
You all just have one of those.
We just have him.
Well, every Saturday morning I got two: Johnny Bashir's and Charlie Coleman. What I should have done, and I said, "Well, where were y'all Friday night when I needed you to have that fight?" Well, guys, we sure do appreciate you coming in. We're expecting a huge crowd, and of course, we've had some. Parking issues, and tell them to get here early. I think they can.
I think it's going to be a little bit better tonight. They got a lot of that cleaned up there on the hill. Okay. A couple other things, I know Serena last year, at this time she was working with trying to get all the T-shirts to everybody for the game, and I'm sure she's really this year she didn't have to do that. And we got our Hall of Fame tonight, and you got some men going into the Hall of Fame that. Are very deserving. Coach Gates and Coach DT have talked to most of those guys, and it's something we didn't do for a few years, and we brought it back last year, and we're looking forward to keeping that tradition going. So we got some good guys going in there tonight, and we look forward to seeing them before the game.
And of course, this is kicking off Black Patch Weekend, and that's our
big for us.
Big for us. They've got a lot of stuff going on today and tomorrow, and. I think, Dennis, you wanted to get a plug in for the Kiwanis?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Kiwanis is having the pancake breakfast in the morning from 7:30 to 10. And so any of you all that are out and about at the Methodist Church, it's at the Methodist Church right down here on Main Street across from First Baptist. They have a good pancake and sausage breakfast, and just want everybody to come down and support that Kiwanis cause.
Well, guys, that about wraps it up. Go ahead, Coach.
I want to wish Elijah Sindelar, D. Kane, Zach Gator, and got one other one. Kicker West.
The running back for
Jalen Boyd.
Jalen Boyd.
Yeah,
I saw where Jalen plays at Lindsey Wilson.
And he sat out a year and went back, and I was glad to see him go back. And he's had a really good week last week, so wish him best of luck.
Of course, it's also a big weekend of college football. Will UK end the streak?
No.
That's the big question. 31? Is that what? It's at 31. It's got to end sometime. We hope that it ends this weekend.
You do.
That about wraps us up. Anything we want to thank Dakota once again on controls over here, and especially our sponsors, Trice Hughes Chevrolet and McDonald's. And we want to thank all of our guests that came in. Mark Hooks. One of our inductees into the Hall of Fame. We want to wish Jamie Palm. He brought the donuts again, but
all the Crittenden County people ate them, Jamie.
And they're
we
good.
gave them to the Crittenden County so they'll have enough sugar in them tonight. But,
Pat, we want to thank you and DT for what you all do. I know it means a lot to the community, and we appreciate you having us on and featuring Crittenden County this time. But you and DT need some praise too, because you do a great job. And being former coaches, former players, you understand what football means to the kids and the community. So we appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate those kind remarks.
Yeah, thank you. Not just for former coaches, but it makes former friends, and I appreciate that all the way around the book.
And DT and I both have a soft spot for Crittenden County. Me being over there, his wife taught over there, and for years. Yeah, assistant superintendent, and he
never showed that soft spot on Friday night.
Well, I was always glad when the game was over.
Yeah.
I'll be honest because it was a lot more stressful than I mean,
absolutely,
it's stressful inside, and of course the kids are the ones out on the field that's going to determine the outcome. And of course, the better your team is, the better it makes you look as a coach. So,
absolutely.
We appreciate everybody in Crittenden County and Marion, as well as the people here in Caldwell County and Princeton. And we want to see you tonight at the game and helping recognize these Hall of Fame members and to come out and see a great football game. That wraps us up here. We want once again thank you for tuning in and viewing Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT.
Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the Fiber Guard and Leather Guard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors.